KP, it's finally starting to sink in despite Silverquill, Joss Scorcher, Sophisto, Dr. Wolf, and the Brony Notion. Those are the only people who have forgiven you, aka the 1%ers. Oh, I forgot, Lily Pete. Then again, Pete thinks that you were 100% right, and that speaks volumes in itself. So yes, Rachel, you have in fact been voted off the island. There's a get-together in BC, and I know for a fact that you weren't invited. The funny thing is, Event almost was. And in all likelihood, had he gone, I bet he would have been remembered more fondly than you ever would have been. Take a look at this picture. The fact that you're not here is a loud and clear middle finger. Lily Pete could have been in this picture before you ever would have been. Does it hurt to know that people like Robin0928 is more well-liked than you are? I was gonna play a clip dogging Robin, but then again I saw his video on every little thing she does, and it actually wasn't bad. Music's a little loud, by the way, if you're listening, Robin. You have empty-headed, dumb, common fans. I'd call you the PewDiePie of the Brony fandom, but I've already reserved that title for the Brony Notion. So it's finally sunk in. You're not welcome. Conversely, this is Neal X. He's a gentleman who, with his own time, made a series which is called Elements of Brony from his own blood, sweat, and tears. It's heartfelt, it's moving, it's memorable. He's a wonderful human being.
So let me just say that any creative project is like a story. Even a creative project that's about a story. And to get serious for a moment, in the story of this project, you could say that this is the low point in the narrative. The point at which all hope seems lost. The point at which one of the main characters has failed. And he can only look at his comrades and say as sincerely as he can, "I'm sorry."
I know.
But all is not yet lost.
I would call Neal X the most un-KP thing ever, and I could think of no greater compliment I could shower on someone. Rachel, you've become a meme, a joke, and not that kind. You've been a meme for years, but it's finally safe to talk about it out in the open. You fucking deserve it. Get wrecked. Dear Mint Heart, side to my audience, Mint here is an underage girl who is famous for her escapades with older gentlemen. That's how we know who she is. Her friend is Vito, who will rush out to defend her, even though he's failed to come forward about other creepy older gentlemen. Why? Well, I couldn't tell you. I even offered him $100 to do the right thing. Vito's response was, he said he wanted $200. And you got a deal. Long story short, Mint, please log off the internet, get a jump rope, get on a bike, go for a walk, go dig a hole in the dirt. Go do whatever it is kids your age do. The hell away from the computer. Mint here refused to tell her parents about any of the fuckery that's been going around online. For the belief that any parent, any reasonable parent, would yank their kid off the internet immediately. So I want to be perfectly clear. I don't want Mint Heart bullied off the internet. Long story short here is, 'cause Mint drew a shipping picture of her original character with mine to prove some point. And publicly, right here, right now, to quote Ric Flair, to ride Space Mountain, you have to be 18, kid. You are not 18. There are some weak-willed men who've been confronted with whack jobs like, say, Iris Prism, who can't tell people like this firmly no. So this is my firm no to you, Mint Heart. I'm not interested in your motivations. You can call me a stuck-up asshole to your heart's content. Furthermore, you're underage and one of your closest online friends is Vita, who's a junkie. I say this because, God be willing, if your parents see this video, they should pull you off the internet immediately. I remember your response, if I tell my parents I'll get pulled like Glitzy Glam. So to my audience who's listening, Glitzy Glam was this young girl whose parents yanked her off the internet because of Keyblade was getting a little too close. For legal reasons, I'm not going to be able to speculate, but there's a certain dramatic reading performed by the Burning Donut. Here's a link in the description of Keyblade crying about a 14-year-old girl being removed from the web.
Gather round, my faithful followers, because I have a story to tell. So here's the backstory. The girl he is bitching over is 14 and the Keyblade guy in question is 20. Her parents don't want her talking to a 20-year-old man over the internet. Who's in the wrong? Also, all the other messages have been retracted to protect everyone else but Keyblade.
I'm making a video about this. Hopefully when she returns, Glitzy can show her foolish father this video and make him think there's a difference between being protective and what they're doing. Overprotection is just as dangerous as underprotection. I've been overprotected my whole life, and he needs to hear this. From a logical standpoint, they jumped the gun in assumption. And they automatically assumed that I'm a pedophile. I swear I didn't know she was 8. He didn't directly state it, but I know the mindset. I can judge his lack of effort to even bother to try to understand someone else's point of view. Like an uneducated bigot, every day you hear about people who are just too trusting on social media getting reeled in. He is a bigot. She's told me about her family. He claims to be a Christian. Yet a major part of the Christian faith involves loving others and showing respect to others. And he's failed to do so. My mother raised me the exact same, and she's made me into an introverted, socially awkward person.
I might remind people that discussing happenings in Sweetie Bloom's room, the defunct support group, it was basically the Brony version of Heart Progress. If you would like to know more about that movement, here's a link to the channel called Suit Yourself. He's a bit more balls out on tackling such nasty topics than I'm capable of. Mint, you have a hepped up junkie telling you to do dumb, stupid things. We all know the meme, where are your parents? I'm not laughing. You're hanging out with degenerates. I think your legal caregivers should step up and remove you from that environment. You should have been out of a year or 2 ago. Speaking of which, you've been running around accusing someone of potentially being a pedophile, Mint. So here's what I'm going to do. You can come forward, like last time, and Deckard Spade offered to help you file a report with the authorities. But like last time, your big concern was my parents. Also, you're saying I'm overreacting to shipping. Here's Minhart telling AJ the autistic pony to kill himself for doing what Minhart is trying to do to me. Now, I'm not sticking up for AJ, he's basically acting like Minhart. Thank you, fuck you, bye. Next topic. For those of you who saw last week's video, it's been suggested I might have jumped the gun. Honestly, the whole situation is very complicated. I think some of the advice I got was from people whose mental judgment was impaired, and I tried to appease people who didn't want a middle ground. They wanted all of it. So for those of you who are Rick and Morty fans, you may know the top shelf in Rick's garage that there's a box labeled time travel. But this is a meta joke that including this as part of the show would be too complicated, and it's forever regulated to the top shelf. So we're going to put Toon right up here with time travel. I feel he's too complicated for a mere mortal like myself. If you're unsatisfied with that statement, don't be. There are oodles of people just floating around out there, just blowing in the wind, who can take the wheel and fly their own way through on what I would describe as tornado-ridden skies, because I'm not doing it. Want the real reason? All the people I was trying to appease weren't happy, and all the people who were happy went from happy to pissed. All I got out of How Not to Brony 43 was a big nothing burger with extra nothing sauce. Speaking of which, dear Iris Prism, you are the first Brony I've ever been ashamed to talk about. So if you want any of the simple backstory on how Iris Prism burned a lot of her bridges needlessly, here's a link to Pastel's channel, doing what should have been the beginning and the end of the Iris Prism saga. Look at this. Here is Iris Prism asking Josh Scorcher to pray for her yeast infection.
Do you think that you did, sir?
God damn it, Jeff. Iris, Josh thinks you're creepy. And I agree with Josh on virtually nothing. But I will here. You flipped out on your friends because you asked what they thought of you getting an Alicorn OC, and then they politely said that they liked your old one, and then you went around saying that Josh, Scorcher, and Bliss were your real friends. They are not. I can tell you that they are not. I am here to cure you of the sickness that is hope. I understand this fandom, and the internet in general is a wonderful la-la land to escape from reality. I think you went a little too far on this one, Iris. You are, without a shadow of a doubt, the craziest person I know in this fandom. Get help. Dear Fallen, I've had a discussion with Vita recently. The main reason why I don't haul off and sit Fallen Wish down for a series of massive screw-ups that spanned as far as the eye can see and have only focused on the riff drama is because I once dated Fallen, and honestly, it would come off as sour grapes, and quite honestly, going after your ex keeps you from getting future girlfriends. It's just one of those things you sorta have to lump. So recently Fallen went to Crystal Mountain PonyCon and said all of her fares are in order, and everything is neato and mosquito, and honestly, I'm happy for her. The fandom could use strong, charismatic individuals who can bounce back if and when they get in trouble. Now, if you're a prude, you can say, well, those people shouldn't get in trouble in the first place. Well, look, I like Ty and Dega, but if the fandom were full of him, that would be way too many nice people, and that would drive me off the deep end. So, here's the problem. This is Derpy. Or Simone. I don't know every little detail, but for whatever reason, she supposedly gave Fallen money for a plush. Fallen said she didn't get the money for the shipping, so she sent the money back. This sounds super duper uninteresting and small. Like many of the stories on this show, it's kind of mind-baffling there is a story. So Derpy is saying Fallen kept the money. I don't know, and I'll generally be honest with you. I don't care. I know Derpy, and she's obnoxious as hell. The reason why we're here is Fallen, when pressed on this issue, used my name as a means to get Derpy to back off. I know because Derpy told me, and then tossed me some screenshots. I was in a room called Drama Llama, imagine me being in such a room, where I threw one of these in, and then Onyx the Dragon said that it was an edit from Derpy. That is some blind nut-huggery there, son. So again, I'm not involved in Fallen's financial affairs. The extent of me being involved with anything was me putting up a video for a GoFundMe nearly 2 years ago. I thought about going back and opening the floodgates and telling every little thing about every little thing. So I'll say this. There's a 50-50 chance that Fallen sent the money back, and there's a chance that she kept it. I have no idea. Flip a coin. Dear Derpy, indeed, I am not Fallen's hit squad, but I did find something out about you that someone volunteered up. There are some people with really high King of Limbo view counts that fucking hate your guts. Had Fallen simply come to me and been like, I need dirt on Derpy, it was totally all there, on a scale of 1 to 10 on drama, somewhere between an 8 and a 10. Maybe that's just hype, maybe it's not. Dear Wolfkeen, totally unrelated note, I know what you did at BC 2015. No, I don't mean the screaming in the halls thing. One day I might get super fucking bored, and maybe I'll just be having a real bad day, and I'll tell the world why you are hands down the shittiest person in the fandom. Uncontested reigning champion. Be glad that I don't have the green light to hit you. But yeah, Fallen, if you're watching, if you would have been straight up with me, this would have been the easiest slam dunk, grand slam, total victory you ever saw. So in the future, when I ask, what's this all about? Just stop lying. I literally found out the truth a day later. If you're gonna lie, at least tell one that you can hope to keep going for at least a week. If you guys haven't gotten your drama filled, please head on down to my channel, Fen and Frenzy, where I cover Jim Cornette. For whatever reason, he felt CNN were the good guys as far as the doxing scandal goes. It's a real shame. I think the world of Cornette, at least as an entertainer. I'm not sure I can recommend his work as much as I once did. Also, head on down to Analysis Daily. You would only have to do 3 votes, tops. That's Lightning Bliss heads up with Silver Quill, Tricky is facing Fat Man Falling, and Deckard Spade is facing Riley Miller. Do not vote here. Later.
Sir, that video felt kinda small. I was wondering if we could talk about you-know-who.
Oh man, do I have to? This was going to be entirely Pete-free. You know, like how Not to Brony 43 or 42 was entirely Tumblr-free.
There's a picture of Doodle on that bitch. I'd say that that's a bridge far from Tumblr free.
Fine. Let's take a look. What's the video or videos called?
Illidaria and a Moral Choice.
Is that a Steven Universe thing?
No, sir. I do believe that's a WoW thing.
See, the thing is, May 15th, 2012, I've been on and off, mostly addicted to Diablo 3. And for the last 2 to 3 weeks I've been free. I'm not about to give Blizzard another chance at my immortal soul.
Holy fuck, 2012. You've been playing that fucking game for 5 years nearly.
Yeah, funny thing is, the new character pack came out about a week or 2 later. I was just like, I ain't going through this bullshit again. Free plug, kids. Grim Dawn. That's the real man's playing game.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's a Diablo clone.
Baby steps, I see. Well, how about the Voice of Reason video?
If I'm gonna do that, that's gonna be its own damn week. I want something quick and obvious.
the best redemption arc in the series, one that's notorious for salvaging an otherwise forgettable character. People have sort of forgotten this, but when Sunset first appeared, she was one of the most underwhelming antagonists the series had seen at that point, and nobody was buying her turnaround at the end of Equestria Girls, and rightfully.
One, people are still talking about Equestria Girls.
Is that your big takeaway moment? Dryly acting like you're too good for Equestria Girls these days?
Yes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Pete for talking about Sunset Shimmer, but if anyone forgets about her character was shit at the start, you would have to stop of watching that part of the series. There were 4 movies: Equestria Girls, Rainbow Rocks, Friendship Games, and basically, when DHX stopped giving a fuck entirely, they put out Legends of Everfree. Now don't get it twisted, Sunset partially carried Rainbow Rocks, and Friendship Games decided to retread the Twilight story again, which is beyond tiring considering they did that with Equestria Girls to begin with. And we could see Moon Dancer, Sunset, Twilight, Human Twilight, and to some extent Starlight Glimmer have enough similarities that I'd argue it's kind of impossible to forget. Oh yeah, Sunset Shimmer had the shittiest takeoff of all of them. The remarkable thing about Equestria Girls 1 was how bad it was. The turd on top the crap sundae? That was Sunset Shimmer.
I'm guessing Lily is referring to that duller than nothing of a box of a Discord where literally no one is allowed to challenge her intellect.
Well, it's certainly not going to be Nightmare Rider.
Here is, you didn't buy her turnaround? Yeah, neither did them. By contrast, Starlight is put under the supervision of Twilight in her castle, but enjoys the luxury of anonymity. The rest of Equestria knows her only as Twilight's apprentice.
Ha!
Rocket science. When you fuck people over, they're going to be suspicious of you when you suddenly come back with a smile and an assertion that you're not an evil bastard anymore.
Oh, are we back to talking about KP? Also, I will reply to Lily. All of my friends, fans, and my enemies do know what I do to you. And YouTube. They know when they don't care. Oh, sure, Asher cares when I call you Jerry, but he's a filthy communist and no one in Limbo can stand him. Furthermore, Sunset had to continue her arc in this school, not because of good writing, but because putting her in a new setting would have A, taken more effort, B, if they changed the setting enough, they could have had a substandard product. Equestria is big enough in an interesting world, which is why most people were pissed when the first movie came out and it got shrunk down to a school. You lost all the fantasy setting. And the one thing to make up for that was a card copy character archetype. Starlight Glimmers, conversely, was dropped off in a familiar setting for the audience. If Pete, and notice I said if, Pete suggested that Season 6 would have been better off with Glimmer being in Glimmer Cowpoke Town, you know, the nothing place, with them distrusting her, would it have been better for Season 6? Well, no, because that nameless nothing town was with characters like Double Diamond and Balloon Guy and whatever the fuck other throwaway characters that were presented and couldn't carry an episode. How do I know that? Because it's been 2 seasons later and it hasn't happened yet. Hell, even in the Season 6 final, they gave them a chance to go back to Nothing Town, was upset by Starlight having a panic attack and Trixie, of all people, having to save the day. No one has forgotten this. If you have forgotten this, then you have to have forgotten that Rainbow Rocks is this shining gem of the Equestria Girls series. This is Pete strawmanning the audience of all things. Hey, do you forget that literally every other point that I wouldn't let people talk about in my Discord because I've banned the discussion of analysis or quite frankly show discussion and made you all dribbling, drooling idiots? Hell, Jeff still hasn't recovered from this.
Hey!
Christ, it's taken me how many weeks to go back to How Not to Brony after being in that Discord chat? That chat is where minds go to fucking die.
Appearance. If anything, the meta plot of Rainbow Rocks is getting a previously apathetic viewer base to care about Sunset. Discord was scrutinized by the main 6. Sunset was scrutinized by everybody. Starlight gets off scot-free, and
I think it kind of made my own point for me. Discord and Sunset have already done that, so your point question mark is that you want the show to hammer in redundancy? Fans are smart enough to see obvious repeating patterns. Don't believe me? Go talk to pro wrestling fans sometime and go ask them about the dusty finish.
What's the dusty finish?
The dusty finish is where the referee is hit or knocked out, and a substitute referee comes in and eventually declares a clean pinfall or submission. At this point, the original referee is revived and reverses the decision, declaring a disqualification because of being knocked out with some kind of illegal act on the ref. This is usually done to prevent a title change. This was run into the ground. We see examples of nerdy archetype characters who gasp, have a hard time grasping the concept of friendship throughout the show. There's a little bit of that in Glimmer, in Rock Solid Friendship, but thankfully we don't see a whole season of Glimmer being ragged on. Virtually everyone I talked to about Rainbow Rocks felt that yes, even the main 6 buried Sunset Shimmer nonstop, maybe a skosh too far. It's also funny that you brought up and missed a point. Discord. They didn't run that all into the ground all at once. There was something that got brought up over and over again until the show just decided to shit the bed and sink the ship on the arc. What about Discord, where the audience is just told everything's alright but not shown? And some knobs think that's clever. Hey! It's not that Pete's just flat up wrong. The concept works, thus the examples, but if the show doesn't try new things, it'll just wither and die.
Guilt is a crucial part of redemption, and Friendship is Magic is bad at it. Really, really, really bad. The problem with guilt in Friendship is Magic is that it's often self-imposed with little to no outside influence. Infamously, Princess Luna tortured herself every night as a punishment for how much Equestria suffered because of her. A suffering that the entirety of Equestria seems to hold absolutely zero grudges for, to the point that they made it into a fun holiday for kids. Come back to Sunset and she's being outright pilloried, even expressing frustration at how much people around her seem determined to keep reminding her what a horrible human being she was.
It could be the fact that Luna's boner was literally, 1,000 years ago? It was all but a myth by the time that she came back. That only a turbo nerd like Twilight was the one who knew Nightmare Moon was to any significant degree when she showed up. Like, seriously, no one else knew who the fuck Nightmare Moon was in the pilot. Dildo? Dildo! Did Luna go hang out with the masses afterwards? Does Celestia do that? When Luna showed up, the people who reacted were more the rank and file. And she was the one who had to learn from that lesson. That's why Pete seems annoyed here. When you have someone who's socially inept show up, people laugh at them. Luna, for all intensive purposes, might as well be Pete, and the townfolk here are laughing at them, and being a spectacle is the Brony fandom, having a guffaw at Pete's self-importance. And you know what? I think that's kind of perfect.
Starlight has to keep reminding the audience about everything she's done because there's no outside force reminding her about it to drive the conflict. This results in a personality that amounts to little more than, I'm very, very sorry for what I did. Starlight has to be constantly feeling guilt because she never has to suffer. She's developed a guilt complex because she was never properly punished for her crimes. And this remains the big problem with Starlight. Throughout all of Season 6, the audience is treated to constant, unending recaps of Starlight's terrible run as a villain, which sends Starlight into another run of moping, and the viewer's expected to feel sorry for Starlight. Except, I don't feel sorry for Starlight, because she deserves far more than she's getting.
That sounds like a you problem. Starlight tortured some nothing town with shitty, uninteresting characters. We might as well call it Lily Pete's Discord. If I told you that there was next to zero substance or value in that room, and to give you perspective, the whole Brony fandom is the land of misfit toys, and even in the land of misfit toys, there's another nothing tier. Starlight's interest is this: she's a ticking time bomb. This happened to me in the Brony fandom whenever I have lit Vito or Shelly D back in Limbo. They get back in, they fuck up, something fun and interesting is created because of that fuck up. If you need an example of this on the show, every little thing she does. If that episode didn't exist, I'd probably would be looking at Pete's glass of water on this subject and be like, no, that's about right. Sometimes it's just giving people a chance and giving them the opportunity to fall and learn, as opposed to, say, putting someone in a rigged game, getting frustrated and kicking them out when even you can't get that right for the win. Here's my point. Has Pete ever rehabilitated anyone? Hell, whenever any kind of discussion broke out in Pete's room, she screamed at everyone till they dropped it. Not to say it wasn't effective, but I would hardly take someone's advice like that if that's your endgame. Come to think of it, it's kinda horseshit that someone like Sunset Shimmer would go from being a super dick to being a punching bag. Let's consider that again. Sunset Shimmer was a fucking tyrant in Equestria Girls 1. Well, as much of a tyrant as you could be in a high school. And what held that up? Snips and Snails, the Bulk and Skull, held Sunset Shimmer's evil empire together. Elise Glimmy had a chance to lapse back to being evil, something Discord very much believably did at the end of Season 4. At the core of these characters, they're still dicks. That's what makes them believable. You can see that in every Discord episode, or Luna's latent resentment of Celestia. Was there any sign that Sunset is, well, still Sunset? Don't get me wrong. Sunset was a boring, dull bully in the first movie, but then that magically just left and no one was talking about that. I mean, the reason for that is pretty clear. It was such a shitty design, it seems everyone was just happy to see it go, but it is still part of the character, so how is she going from Queen Bitch to Mother Teresa? How is that good writing? Shouldn't she have had at least a moment where she decided to hit back? Wouldn't that have been way more believable? This is why you couldn't have show discussions or analysis in Pete's chat. because Pete would have her thumb up her nose if anyone asked this. I think that should cover it for now. We might come back to that next time. Who knows? Maybe I won't do any more. See this? This is the upvote downvote bar from How Not to Brony 43. 83 upvotes, 79 downvotes. If you liked today's episode, upvote it. If you hated it, downvote it. We'll see you down below in the comments. And you'll never see me turn off the upvote downvote display. Bring it.